Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to provide an overview of the City of Boulder's 2020 Boulder County Sustainability Matching Grant projects. This year, the city's Climate Initiatives Department had two project managers overseeing the grant-funded projects. We are myself, Elizabeth Vasadka, and Matt Lehrman. Both of us are excited to share the projects with you today. And as an overview, the two projects are both supporting the city's overarching climate mobilization action planning process, or CMAP. The first project focuses on integrating equity into our CMAP engagement process, and the second is evaluating transit electrification. The first grant-funded project is really looking at how CMAP equitable engagement happens. We launched 4 pilot projects that were planned and implemented with the intent to listen and learn from our communities with a focus on underserved and under-resourced neighborhoods. As we all know and have seen with the effects of climate change, the people most impacted are the ones least responsible. Because of that, we piloted efforts to better understand what is needed to build resilient, healthy, and sustainable communities by focusing on racial equity and climate justice. We actually contracted with and resourced existing organizations that already had built a trust within the Black, Indigenous, people of color, and low-income communities, with a specific focus on Boulder housing partners and manufactured home communities. In addition, we worked with other organizations that could catalyze Boulder residents across the city to get excited about neighborhood climate action and helping to create a tool that will help community members understand what nonprofits provide what services to people in need. On the screen you're looking at, you can see some of the work that was done. It was exciting, but also very different since we had to do all our engagement online. With that, I'm going to hand the mic over to my colleague, Matt Lehrman, to discuss the second project of transit electrification.
Our second project looked at electrification of the transit system in Boulder, focused on VIA's HOP fleet. There were 15 buses, CU's buff routes, which have 13 buses, and 37 of BVSD's yellow school buses that operate only in the city of Boulder. And what we found was that by 2030, 100% of the VIA buses, 50% of CU's buses, and 25% of BVSD's buses could be electrified based on economics as they are known today. The project looked at 3 different scenarios. The first was the total cost of ownership, that is the capital cost of the buses as well as the operational costs, comparing both electric to the existing baseline of diesel buses. The second scenario looked only at the operational savings. It ignored the upfront purchase costs and simply said, what is the cost to operate of the baseline versus an electric fleet? And the third scenario looked at adding on-site solar and storage to the charging infrastructure under the assumption that the buses would need to continue operating even if the grid was down, and as such should have resilient and emissions-free charging infrastructure available to it. As I said at the beginning, the results found that long-term savings are available based on the current operations of all 3 fleets, although not for 100% of each of the fleets. If in one scenario we were able to find an opportunity to have shared charging, that is, all of the buses could charge at one location instead of each fleet separately investing in charging infrastructure, that the startup capital cost could be 40% less than the baseline, and the operating expenses, just the electricity, could be nearly 20% less over 10 years with a shared charging depot. Ultimately, though, the price parity of on-site solar and storage is not at price parity compared to grid electricity until the 2025 to 2030 timeframe, simply because of the known economics today. However, this added on-site generation would add a base level of resilience so the buses could continue to operate in the event of an emergency or grid outage. I hope those two slides provide some sense of what we looked at with our Boulder County grants this year. We are extremely appreciative of the funding opportunity and look forward to sharing these results with the other communities in Boulder County and to future projects with the county. Thank you.
This is Leah Yancey, Sustainability Matching Grant Program Manager, presenting on behalf of the Town of Erie for their 2020 Environmental Sustainability Matching Grant. Boulder County Commissioners, past and present, thank you. Erie wishes to thank you. Thank you for supporting the Town of Erie in achieving its water conservation goals. Erie had an exciting year and was able to have $15,000 worth of more fun because of your support. Erie is home to nearly 30,000 people, almost half of which live in Boulder County. As it continues to grow, welcoming new residents with sustainability values will be crucial in achieving the community goals now and in the future. Water conservation is a pillar of that ethos. As the water efficiency and drought management plan updates are in their last stages, the town is undertaking a goal to reduce per capita water use by 10% in the next 10 years, hence their little jingle, 10 and 10. As a community, Erie would like to achieve a 10% water savings in 10 years. This would bring down water usage to 115 gallons per capita per day based on population and demand projections. This chart shows that indoor per capita water use has remained relatively stable both on a total system-wide and residential basis. This can be expected. While there is always more work to be done, most of the development in Erie's service area is relatively new and consequently includes industry norm WaterSense fixtures and appliances. For those who don't live in newer homes or would like to replace broken appliance or fixtures, Erie has a long-standing water rebate program encouraging WaterSense technologies. Erie is unique in that residential single-family water usage makes up 74% of all the town's water usage, compared to commercial taps at only 3%. Providing as many offerings to residential customers to engage with water conservation is important as ever and has the opportunity to provide the greatest reduction townwide. In 2020, the town was able to offer 7 different direct rebates that the resident can either apply directly as credit to their water bill or have a paper check issued. The town simultaneously offered garden-in-a-box discounts, slow-the-flow irrigation assessments, smart control clock and rain sensor, direct installations, along with a complimentary education and outreach program, Live It Like You Love It, provided by Colorado Waterwise. Thank you for your support.
This is the Town of Jamestown's 2020 Sustainability Grant Report. The 2020 grant focused on 2 main areas, the community gardens and recycling and zero waste events. The goals for the community gardens included an expansion of the public area of the gardens, more pathways and drainage improvements, and a new storage shed. Also, some of the grant funding was used for an irrigation system and new drum composters. This year, due to the expansion, additional food was able to be harvested and donated to the local food share program. Volunteers have logged over 150 hours. Due to the pandemic, our recycling events looked a little different this year. The team was able to successfully manage the monthly recycling program in accordance with the latest public health orders with the help of Green Girl Recycling. The video on the screen displays how the logistics worked. Volunteers were able to check people in and record contact tracing data. Participants lined up in their cars and entered the recycle area one at a time. The first successful event was in May and has continued throughout the year. The time-lapse video displayed below tracks the event, which lasted 2 hours. Average time per vehicle is about 3 minutes. More than 50% of residents participated in our Recycle Saturdays. Due to outdoor event restrictions, the town had to cancel 2 scheduled zero waste events. The chart on the screen details significant waste diversion efforts, comparing this year with 2019 data. The team would like to thank the Resource Conservation Division and the Hazardous Materials Management Facility for participating in our Hard to Recycle event this year. On behalf of the Town of Jamestown, our Sustainability Committee wishes to thank Boulder County for your continued support of these projects. We are thankful for these programs that so greatly benefit our mountain community.
Hello, my name is Katie Doling, and I'm the Deputy City Administrator for the City of Lafayette. Thank you for allowing our community to showcase our projects from the Boulder County Environmental Sustainability Matching Grant for 2020. At the beginning of this year, the county approved the city's 2020 grant application for the following projects: additional incentives for Lafayette residents to obtain energy efficiency upgrades through Energy Smart, a solar access study to develop a future solar fencing code, and enhanced incentives for businesses to install electric vehicle or EV charging stations through the Regional Air Quality Council's Charge Ahead Colorado program. Like many communities, the City of Lafayette was not spared by the effects of COVID-19 on both staff capacity and city revenues. Other national events like racial and social justice issues also shifted resources and focus. And finally, the city was hit with a crippling cyber attack in midsummer. One of these events alone was enough to reevaluate the scope of our grant, let alone all three. When looking closer, we found the EV charging station incentive would require businesses to invest in stations at a time of great economic hardship. It would also necessitate EV ride and drive events that were no longer possible due to distancing protocols. In regards to solar access study, decreased revenue has resulted in freezing of all new hiring, and additional planning staff would have been needed to support a new solar fence code. Coupled with that, we are in the process of hiring a new planning and building director at the city. We appreciate Boulder County's flexibility to revise our scope while still achieving some great outcomes for the city. The city still continued with additional incentives for Lafayette residents to obtain energy efficiency upgrades through Energy Smart. Launched in 2011, Energy Smart was designed to be the one-stop shop for homeowners, landlords, and renters seeking to make their homes more energy efficient. Through this program, we have been able to serve 64 residents, including 34 that are new to the program in 2020. Types of retrofits include solar installation, insulation, and air source heat pumps. The revised program for 2020 was participation in Excel's Energy Fleet Electrification Advisory Program. The Excel program helps cities conduct detailed telematic analysis of municipal fleets to optimize the transition to an electric vehicle fleet. The program will give the city a wealth of information and resources in planning our transition to an EV fleet. We look forward to continuing our partnership with the county in 2021, and on behalf of the City of Lafayette, thank you for your continued support of sustainability efforts throughout Boulder County.
Hello, Boulder County Commissioners. I'm Lisa Knobloch, the Sustainability Program Manager for the City of Longmont. Before I get into the highlights of this year's accomplishments, I want to say thank you from my team and the community of Longmont for supporting local sustainability efforts through the Boulder County Sustainability Tax. We went through a collaborative discussion with staff as well as stakeholders such as the Sustainability Advisory Board and the Sustainability Coalition and determined 5 key projects for 2020 that we requested funds for. We initially sought funding for 2 separate part-time positions, a grant coordinator and neighborhood program specialist. However, we were lucky to find one candidate with expertise in both areas and combine those into one full-time position, welcoming aboard Atra Nusrat as our Sustainability Grant and Program Coordinator. On the grant side, Atra has supported project managers across the organization to secure funding to advance environmental sustainability goals. To date, we've been awarded 3 grants valuing $250,000 with additional funds up to $750,000 to be determined from DOLA. On the program side, she's worked in partnership with our Community Services Department to launch the SOUL program, providing in-home eco upgrades and sustainability education. To date, we've performed 11 household visits despite significant impacts from COVID, with more homes on the waitlist and new trainees recruited and ready to go. The Neighborhood Impact Granting Program in partnership with the Longmont Community Foundation builds longer-term neighborhood capacity to generate and lead localized sustainability projects. Through grant funds, we developed and launched the program, awarding $15,000 for 4 neighborhood-based projects. This project was impacted due to COVID, resulting in the need to extend our fund expenditures into the first quarter of 2021. The Equitable Carbon-Free Transportation Roadmap details the steps needed to achieve our goal of reducing Longmont's transportation fuel consumption 33% by 2050. And lastly, funding to support the WIC Farmers Market program helped provide food security to more than 700 families. Thank you again for your support, and we will look forward to continuing this work in 2021.
Hello, I'm Katie Baum, Sustainability Specialist with the City of Louisville. For 2020, the City of Louisville used Boulder County's Environmental Matching Grant to continue funding the part-time Sustainability Specialist position of the city. The Sustainability Specialist performs a critical role, continuing sustainability efforts, acting as point of contact, staff liaison to the Sustainability Advisory Board, advancing the Sustainability Action Plan, and much more. In 2020, the position successfully continued positive momentum, coordinating and supporting efforts and initiatives to help us reach our goals. This includes installing a Level 2 dual port at the newly renovated Rec and Senior Center, bike education and engagement with 150 plus residents participating, local business support and working closely with our Director of Economic Vitality, and expanding recycling and waste diversion within the community through our parks and hard-to-recycle drop-off events. Importantly, the Sustainability Specialist developed and Council adopted an updated Sustainability Action Plan in October of 2020, reorienting the position and efforts around our new goals and recommitting to sustainability. City facilities now run off of 100% renewable electricity through XL programming. Benchmarking became a municipal priority, with our wastewater and water treatment plants joining XL's Strategic Energy Management Program to assist with specialized baselining and efficiency measures. On November 3rd of this year, residents voted to pass a 25-cent disposable bag tax, with education and outreach beginning shortly in 2021. The city is proud of our many accomplishments and recognize there is still much more to do. We thank Boulder County for the ongoing support and commitment to continue moving us all forward.
This is Leah Yancey, Sustainability Matching Grant Program Manager, presenting on behalf of the Town of Lyons for their 2020 Environmental Sustainability Matching Grant. The Town of Lyons had 4 projects supported by their 2020 grant funding. The first project was yard waste collection offered to community members. More than 100 cubic yards of branches were made into mulch and diverted from the landfill. Also, over 4 tons of leaves were also diverted from the landfill. The town is also creating a video to educate members of the public about curbside composting. The next project Lyons conducted was related to water conservation. In partnership with Resource Central, Lyons offered services to residents to conserve water outdoors through irrigation consultations and garden-in-the-box plantings. Finally, the Town of Lyons Board of Trustees, on behalf of the community, joined the Colorado Communities for Climate Action, otherwise known as CC4CA, under resolution approval in August of 2020. Colorado Communities for Climate Action is a coalition of local governments across the state of Colorado advocating for stronger state and federal climate policy. This concludes the project results for the Town of Lyons in 2020.
Hello, Boulder County Commissioners. My name is Erica Thorley, and I am a resident of Nederland and also the co-chair on the Nederland Sustainability Advisory Board. The town of Nederland was awarded $15,000 in Boulder County Sustainability Grant Funds to hire a sustainability coordinator. The Sustainability Advisory Board created a job description, interviewed applicants, and selected Garrett McDaniel to be the town's sustainability coordinator. Garrett was hired in February of 2020 and agreed to work 10 hours per week based on the grant. As a member of town staff, Garrett has been integrated into town operations and successfully collaborates with fellow town staff, members of the Nederland Board of Trustees, the Sustainability Advisory Board, and various other local and regional. Garrett's primary task is to implement the Nederland Sustainability Action Plan, which includes all facets of sustainability, including renewable energy and energy efficiency, zero waste strategies, climate action planning, and electric vehicle infrastructure. In 2020, Garrett successfully applied and received a $50,000 grant for the installation of an electric vehicle faster charger. Also included in this project was another awarded grant from Xcel Energy, which covered the infrastructure costs. The fast charger will be installed at the Visitor Center in downtown Nederland and will benefit much of the Nederland residents as well as visitors and the surrounding communities by making it easier for EV drivers to visit the Nederland area. Garrett received approval of a resolution to partner with Solar Energy International to facilitate a residential bulk purchase of rooftop solar, which will help Nederland towards its goal of 100% renewable electricity by 2025. This program will begin in January of 2021. Garrett received approval of a resolution to partner with the Mountain Resiliency Coalition to identify Nederland sustainability indicators, which will help Nederland take the next steps in developing a climate action plan. Garrett received approval of a resolution requiring town waste haulers to report metrics to Boulder County, which helps the town better plan waste diversion strategies. In addition to the projects I mentioned, Garrett represents Nederland interests while working with different regional groups such as Boulder County's Partners for a Clean Environment, Colorado Communities for Climate Action, and Xcel Energy Partners in Energy. We are thankful of the Boulder County Sustainability Grant and the funds the town has received this past year and years prior, as well as continuing forward. We look forward to working with our sustainability coordinator to make Nederland a sustainable mountain community. Thank you.